Hi, it's Timo. Welcome to Norwich City Central.
Hello, everybody. Lewis, Norwich City Central. I hope you're all doing well. Just quickly before this podcast begins, this was one of my favourite videos to film. It was an absolute pleasure and a privilege to have Lucas, the Brazilian Canary, on the Norwich City Central podcast. In this podcast, we talk about how a Brazilian came to fall in love with Norwich City Football Club. Lucas spent several years saving up to come to Norwich, and when he did come to Norwich for a week, we talk about his experiences in England, including attending Norwich 2, Sheffield Wednesday 2 in that crazy game with the Mario Rancic late free kick, and also talk about how Norwich City Football Club has changed his life. I love making this podcast. It was fantastic to have Lucas on. One of my favourite videos to film, and I hope you do enjoy.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Norwich City Central podcast. I hope you're doing well. Welcome to the series Game Changer, where I talk to people connected to Norwich City and the wider world of football and share their stories, lives and perspectives. When I started this series, I really wanted to get you on. I love your story and how you fell in love with Norwich. How are you doing, Lucas?
Oh, thank you so much to have me here. It's a pleasure being. And how I fell in love with Norwich. Well, it will be a long story because it's a long way ago. I was just
a podcast. We're fine.
Yeah. Well, I was just a kid. I was waiting for my parents to go to my grandfather's house, and I was zapping on TV, searching for a football game or something else, just to make the time pass. And I was looking for a game, and I find out there is a match between Norwich, that in that time I didn't know the name was Norwich, and Manchester United, and I started to watch because there is some things in that match that make me feel familiar with Norwich. The first one, people think, it's because it's yellow and green, so Brazil. But
Yeah.
no, it was because the fans, because the Norwich fans in that game, I don't know really why in that time, was really amazed by that match because Norwich was winning by 2-0. I saw the second goal, and I was thinking the fans was going to the field to celebrate in that match, and I saw, hey, that's football for me, because it reminded so much the feeling when I was in the stands for support my local team, Flamengo, and we are like that, so emotional, intense, and other things that make me like Norwich in that match was the celebration and the Canary. Why the Canary so specific? My grandfather, there is so much irony in this because my grandfather was rescuing some birds in Brazil because unfortunately we have illegal thing that saw animals, and birds is one of them. And my grandfather, until this day, he helps to take care of birds, and one of them are canaries. And I have one canary in my home.
Oh, wow.
And this species is so talented, and they can be so intelligent too. And so I fall in love with the canary, the fans, and of course the result helps a lot because I was in love with this match. And I was 8 or 9 years old, so I was just a kid back in 2005.
Yes.
And in 2009, years later, I have a better internet, and I start to find out what happened with that little canary team, because it's the way that I called Norwich in back time.
Yeah.
And I Google it, Little Canary Football Club, and then I saw the badge, and I start to read the story of the club, know more about Norwich, and I find out Norwich was in League One. When I read that, I was thinking, League One is the first division. When I find out this is the third division, oh my God, what happened?
I think it was the worst Norwich City had been in about 60 years, so it was a bad time to Google it.
Yeah, but for me, it was totally the inverse, because when I saw it, I don't know, I was too innocent back time and too superstitious too. I was thinking, no, Now I will create a social media about that, and I will support the club, make people know about Norwich, and it will make Norwich go back to Premier League. Well, I don't know if destiny was like that, but in this Paul Lambert era that I was able to saw, Norwich really make the back-to-back promotions, né? And we go back to Premier League, and I started everything on Twitter, Facebook, Blogger, and after that, some years later, I started to do YouTube, podcast too, and during many years, the Brazilian Canary community, how we nickname it, was just me doing stuff, content, and almost anyone watching it or seeing it. But today we have more than 20 people joining
Wow.
this group, and it's really grateful for me because it's two types of recognition. I'm being recognized by the people here in Brazil because they say, Lucas, you are a Norwich City synonymous here. You think Norwich in Brazil, you think about you, and that's the thing that you can measure. You can think, oh my God, I'm in Norwich. It's out of my mind to think about. And the second recognition was about you, Norwich fans, that always support me, give me gifts, so much love back, and the club too. In 2011, I was interviewed by John Lally when he was at the media of the club, and he sent me a lot of programs signed by Norwich players back then. And after that, I was interviewed by other newspapers like Sunday Press, Pincan, and many
Yep.
others. So thing was growing and more. I tried to share more about me, and I started to learn English by myself to be more closer. And I still make some mistakes in English because I just commit more.
No, your English is really good. Your English is really good.
Oh,
Where
thank
can
you so
people
much.
where can people find you if they want to kind of look over your stuff, if they want to follow you on social media, for instance?
Well, you just have to search Norwich City FCBR in any social media. You'll find me there. And well, since I started to do this content, I was planning myself to go to Norwich because this started to be my dream. And
So what kind of year is this when you are planning to go to Norwich, roughly?
well, when I was in 2010, because in 2009, I mean, I didn't have a really how can I say, I don't know how to do it because I was so young. But when the time was passing, I finished my college, I was graduated and started to work. I know more about the prices to do things, and I started to plan myself 2 years later to really go to Norwich. And this preparation was not only saving money, was years later learning English. So I was so prepared for it that when I arrived, not only speaking to people, but the places. I watched Google Earth so many times the place in Norwich. You have no clue. I think I dreamed many times with that. And when I was in Norwich, putting my foot there was so familiar that I don't know if it is the dream become true feeling, but I was, hey, that's for me, that's my place. Was something that I can't put in words, but was really amazing to make this dream come true because I worked so hard for it, many years preparing myself for it, and everyone received me so well. Everyone give me a greatest welcome ever. The club, the fans, even the people from media and other clubs. I received message for everywhere. Mainly when I was interviewed by Sky Sports, it was a thing that I have no clue that will happen. So was really amazing, and I take so much time to make it happen.
Yeah, it really is an incredible story, one which shows just great love and great passion. Going back to Brazil, what is the kind of culture like in Brazil in terms of football? Is Brazilian football quite big there, and how big is the Premier League? Because I assume when Norwich City go down to the Championship in League One, Norwich City aren't maybe as publicly known about. So kind of how big is the Premier League and Norwich, and how big is Brazilian football in general?
Well, starting with Brazilian football, here in Brazil we have not just 4 or 3 big clubs. We have a bunch of big clubs, like 12 big clubs, if I'm just counting in the Serie A. And football here is like a family thing, because it's not just great because the game is great, because it's part of our culture too. Remembers a lot with football in England, but the problem here is we don't have the good structure to make good matches sometimes. And sometimes some clubs have a good preparation, good financial support, and other clubs are corrupted, are with problems with financial and structure. Anyway, and it makes some disparity. This is a word. Make the clubs distant with each other, but it's a funny thing, because sometimes the big club loses to the little one, not just because the club was underdog or thing like that, because sometimes the big club have not a competitive team.
Okay.
It's like sideways, In England, the biggest club, most part, have a good financial support and also have a competitive team. But here, sometimes not, and it's interesting for us. And in Brazil, talking about support, we have great crowds in many games. Flamengo, for example, say by itself, seeing the club with most fans in the world.
Wow.
I think 4 million by their accounts. And we have Corinthians in Rio de Janeiro. We have Flamengo and Vasco derby, Flamengo and Fluminense derby, Flamengo Botafogo derby. Everyone hates Flamengo, and everyone loves Flamengo too. It's something like that. And about Premier League. Premier League is really great here. People love Premier League and international football. Sometimes the media criticizes it, because they say, "Oh, sometimes Brazilians looks like to love more the international players, the international clubs than own players, the national clubs." Everyone do what they want, but sometimes I think it's some way right, because we don't value our clubs and players like we need to do. But sometimes we can say to, hey, my club is corrupt, my club is do that, and I do not agree with this. So it's understandable too. And Premier League, about the clubs, well, the top 6, the big 6, I mean, Manchester City, United, Liverpool, Chelsea, Tottenham, Arsenal. They are the most popular ones here. It's normal. The media talks about these clubs. Norwich.
It's normal in our country as well.
Yeah, but here in Brazil for me is good, because it makes me in some way be the word. When they need to talk about Norwich, they talk with me. So it helps me a lot about people knowing me. But in other ways, I have so many issues with people saying, I can't say a bad word here.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, go for it.
Some people saying bullshit about Norwich, and I'm thinking, oh my God, how I will teach this man how is Norwich, how is the story about Norwich. So that's why recently I started to do podcasts about the Norwich history, how the club was started, how the reasons of the club, how who are the top scorers of the club, things like that, because people don't know and they create stuff. I saw recently a video on YouTube. It's totally fake news saying that Norwich was originated by Notts County because they are two birds club. What? There is some creativity there, but it's fake.
Yeah,
But
yeah, it's fake.
so how I will change that? It's so difficult, but well, I do what I can. And when Arch was in League One, there is no news about the club in total.
No.
Championship, many times we can see some things. When Norwich played the playoffs in 2015, when Norwich got promoted last year too. So when there is that playoffs and final champion, they talk about relegation. They talk about, so Ipswich was, remember that relegation.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, really good. What
It's
a
pretty
time.
much the perfect season.
Yeah, and what a perfect season to be travel to Norwich, because
Yeah.
I can plan my travel, but I can plan the results. The table was perfect. Norwich champion, Ipswich the last, and relegated. Oh, magnific.
Brilliant, yeah. Yeah, you touched upon earlier how obviously the feeling was like when you came to Norwich. How long did it take you to save up, and then when did you realise that, or when did you book your tickets to Norwich? Was it quite was it like a couple of months before, or was it several months before? Because you picked a perfect time to go.
Yeah, it was several months before, because I had planned of making this happen. Oh man, you have no idea. Because I make so much organization to this happen, because I will do that no matter what. And I think I bought my tickets when I received the invite from the club. The club sent me an email. I think it was Sophie that sent me an email talking about the Global Canaries Parade. Hey, you want to go there? Yeah, 100% I want, and I will prepare myself to do that. I confirmed the email before I bought the tickets, but I was able to buy it. Fortunately, I was working for marketing in a tourism company, so it helped me a lot too. So I bought the hotels, the places that I was staying, and the tickets. The airplane tickets in that case. The Norwich provide the tickets for the stands for the Global Canaries, and when it was in July of 2018, and when I have the tickets in my hand, it was in January of 2019. And man, to be honest with you, I was so calm, because I don't know why. I think I was so okay. I will go to Norwich. That's fine. I cannot lose control of it. Is everything done? It will happen. So I think I calm myself, because I know it will happen. And when it will be even closer to the travel, I was getting a little bit nervous, but not about the travel to Norwich, but because I never got in the plane before.
Yeah.
I never traveled in an airplane before.
So
and
you never left Brazil before?
Never.
Wow.
Even to go to other states in Brazil, I just go to the bus or in a car. And I was thinking, oh my God, I never was in a plane before. How it will be working? The backpack and everything. Oh my God, how it will be? But it was really easy. People helped me, and my parents helped me a lot too with that. And the the next step during the travel was, well, when I arrive in Norwich, how it will be. And Mr. Neil Hall helped me a lot with that. He take me in the airport and brings me to Norwich all the way in his car. He was so amazing with me. He was a top man. Helped me a lot in Norwich. And so I don't know if I'm off track.
No, you're fine. Keep going, mate.
And was everything perfect? I can complain nothing about the preparation, the travel between countries when I arrived. Were everything perfect? And when I put my step in I think was in the park of the Carrow Road, when we have that entrance with Norwich City Football Club and
There's some
Norwich
fantastic
Badge
pictures, yeah.
when I don't know I was being filmed by Neo in that moment. I was just like, oh my god, I'm here. I was speaking Portuguese to me, and when I look back, I saw he filming me. I was, oh my god, I just, oh sorry, it's a car
It's okay.
passing here. I was just thinking, I was wait this car pass because okay. I don't know if you are listening.
Yeah, it's fine. The audio is quiet. You can continue, mate.
Oh,
It's okay.
perfect. Sorry for that.
No, continue.
I was just looking back and saying, wow, I just can't say I'm here. It's happening. I'm here. I'm here. And I was just thinking that phrase. I cannot say anything else besides I'm here. I'm here. That was the moment that I realized, oh my God.
I was going to say, because you've been planning this trip for years and years and years, and then when you first get to Norwich, when you first get to Carrow Road, is it what you expected? And what was the feelings like? Was it emotion? Was it just happiness? How did you kind of feel being at Carrow Road?
I was feeling like a little kid years ago watching a game where the people in that stadium, like was in that case Carrow Road, was amazed by the team winning Manchester United by 2-0. I was amazed. I was like a little kid in their best place. I got so emotional because I started to smile. I went to cry, but I was not able to, and it was a mixed feeling of realize and happiness. And in general, all the time I was in Norwich, if I can say to you, was really a fairy tale come true. Was more than I expected. Was really, really, really far away beyond I can imagine how it could be. Because in my mind, what was happening was just I will arrive in Norwich, I will sleep in my hotel, and I don't know, I will go to the stadium, I will be in the Global Canaries parade, but I will watch the match between Norwich and Sheffield Wednesday, and will be it. But no, it was way bigger than that. People in the streets knowing me. Hey, Lucas, how are you? Let's take a picture. Oh, my son loves you, and etc. Things like that. Oh my God. Because people just know me from internet. They never know me in real life. I mean, and I just trying to be who I am, and people loves that.
Yeah.
I don't know if that is charisma or something like that, but I never force it, and was so much love back, and was not just from people of Norwich, but in the club also. They give me gifts. They let me know Grant Holt, my favorite player. They make me do this interview to Sky Sports. They interviewed me. Pink interviewed me. BBC Norfolk interviewed me. Sunday Press. The fans around the stadium when we are doing the parade. One of them give me his hat. So so many things happen way than I can think. They can imagine years before that I can't say thank you enough.
Yeah.
Because was perfect. Okay, I want to see a victory in Cameroon, but to be honest, this goal, 97 minutes, was like a
It
victory to
wasn't
me.
bad.
Yeah, and also in the end, Lydia Smith asked me to hang out with her, and her. Oh, sorry, I forgot his name. I think it's Tim or Tom Smith. Uh, and the directors was there.
Mm.
And I also know some people from the club that helps the club financially, and I know Daniel Fark there.
I was going to
Pekka
say, what was
Fark.
it like kind of talking to Delia Smith, Daniel Farker, and all these kind of people? Was it really surreal?
Yeah, when I saw Didi Smith, I was more amazed than Grant Holt. It was really funny because here in Brazil, to you meet some director, it's something that's almost impossible. There's so much security involved. They almost untouchable. But no, Daddy Smith was like one of us there ringing out, and I was, oh my god, this is Daddy Smith. Maybe she wants to adopt me. Please don't let me leave. And she was so great with me. She first words to me was, "Oh, this is the Brazilian guy," and she hugged me.
You
It
went
was
viral,
so
didn't you?
amazing. Yeah, and she also presents me to her mother. Oh my God, this is mother of Daddy Smith, and people there have me some drinks and food, everything for free, of course, and
Perfect.
was perfect, right? And I don't know, was perfect, and I can really put everything in words. I will also forgot something, but uh, I'm just so much grateful. It's so much grateful in everything that happened.
Yeah, totally. I was going to say, because you came to Norwich, was it the day before the Sheffield Wednesday game or 2 days before, and then you left the day after Stoke? Is that right?
Yes, I left to Brazil days after the game of Stoke. I arrived in Norwich, if I'm not mistaken, in Wednesday.
Yeah.
It's a great irony. I arrived in Wednesday to watch Wednesday game. And Thursday, I was just walking around the city, knowing the places.
How did
Again,
you feel? How did you feel walking around the city and seeing, or like all the things you put on Google Maps? Was it quite a surreal and quite a weird
yeah,
experience?
it's like you are in a video game, open map, and then you are in the video game. You are inside them.
Yeah.
But in that case, it was real life. And Neil Hall, again, excellent person. He was my tour guide there.
Yeah.
And he showed me almost everything he was possibly do, and everything was on foot. It's really great have this walk there on the city, and it's such a lovely place. I have to say, lovely people, lovely city. I'm really like to one day maybe live in there. I'm
Yeah.
being honest with you. I love my country, but I feel much more familiar in Norwich than here. I don't know, was because the reception, the welcome, but the car is passing again. I don't know if you are hearing it.
No, it's fine. You're good.
uh, and I don't know if it was the welcome and everything, but I'm really feeling home when I was in Norwich.
Yeah.
And I'm really thinking about trying my best what I can in the right time to move to Norwich. Will be such a good thing to do for me. I think if I have a second dream, would be it. And I'm really
That's awesome.
looking forward to do that one day.
Yeah, that's really awesome. It's just I think so many people loved you and wanted to take pictures just because of how kind you were, but also just the story behind it. It really is a fantastic story.
Oh,
Yeah, we was talking about the Sheffield Wednesday game. As I said, it must have been amazing to meet Delia. What was it like meeting Daniel Farker as well? Did you meet him pre-game, post-game, or how was that chat with Daniel?
was post game, and oh my god, I'm a journalist here in Brazil, so sometimes I do not think much if there is a good question to do, but I have one time chance to do that, and I say to Daniel Fark, when you extended your contract, he do to 2022, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Please extend again, because I'm thinking that you can do something like Alaric Ferguson here, you know, a long time journey that will be successful in the club, because he have a good philosophy of football. He is attacking minded, and it's good. Of course, we need to take care of our defensive thing. We need to improve our defense. But Daniel Fark, he has creativity. He has attack in his mind, and this is one thing that I love in football, and this is one thing that Brazil loves in football.
Yeah,
So
particularly that championship season, it was almost gung ho. We would score, the opposition would score, and also Daniel Farker bringing in youth players as well. A lot of managers and a lot of clubs kind of separate the youth and don't really play the academy that much and leave them to one side. But I think what we loved about Daniel, as you say, is the attacking football, but also having players like Max Aarons and Jamal Lewis who have been fantastic. Todd Cantwell, who's come through in the Premier League this season. He's just a fantastic manager, and he really helps develop players.
exactly, and here in Brazil, it's totally normal to do that. That's why many young players in Brazil leave. And when I asked that to him, he extended again when he extended the contract, he was laughing at me and saying, "Man, I just extended it," and I was replying, "I know, but please extend it again." And then we was chatting about football, about the match, how really crazy it was, and then I asked him to sign in my flag, which is back there, and he's such an amazing guy too. Everyone there in our directors and the football staff members, everyone was really kind with me and really great. So it was really good to talk with them.
Yeah. Did you meet the players as well, or was it just the managers and the staff?
The players, I do not meet them, but before the match, I was able to go to the, oh, what is the name? When the players be before the match, I forget the name in English.
The dressing room. The dressing room.
Yes, the dressing room. I saw everything prepared to the match. The shirts there. I want to touch one of them,
Yeah.
but the person who was guiding us there said, "Do not touch everything. It's superstitious thing. We do not, things do not need to be touched." And then I was having such a great story lesson there, how things work in the background. We have so much superstition in Norwich. I don't know. I didn't know about that. And the away dressing room, the visitors dressing room was pink in that time.
Yeah.
I don't know if there is if it is pink yet, but when he explained me the psychological thing about that, oh, that's really intelligent. So
it worked quite well, didn't it?
Yeah. And I love to hear about everything in the background too. It was great, man.
Yeah, and just keep on touching on that Sheffield Wednesday game as well, because what was that feeling like? I think you was in the Barclay stand for the game for the 90 minutes. What was the because the Barclays stand and it was the Snake Pit, wasn't it? Using I think.
Yeah, was
the
it
Snake Pit. What the Snake Pit and the Barclay are known for being quite passionate and quite loud and aggressive. What was the atmosphere like in there throughout the whole game? And it must have been crazy.
I love it because here in Brazil, it's almost every place is like that. In every part of the stands, we are like that. And I love to see Norwich fans waving their flags in the stadium, bringing some noise. Like here in Brazil, we like to bring some drums, things to improve more and more the atmosphere. And Norwich do that visually. The noise, everything makes the atmosphere great. And the Snake Pit was so great to be there because I love to sing and scream at the players and everything.
Yeah.
Of course, scream at the referee is better, but
yeah.
when we scream of the players is good too. It's like it's make us calm in the end of the match. It's a therapy. Like
yeah. For 90 minutes, you can just scream and let everything out, and then relax. Do you have a favorite chant, a favorite song?
Oh, well, the first one was On the Ball City. I loved On the Ball City. When I finish my podcast, I say On the Ball City, never mind the danger, come on yellows. But if we exclude this one, I can say my favorite song was let me think.
Plenty of good ones, wasn't there?
Yeah, because we have the Emi Buendia from Argentina. There is old ones like the Wesley Roland song that I love. Na 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 na. I love this one. But there is one that we I'm forgetting how it started. But
Farker on a horse, maybe.
Yeah, this. Yes. Oh, sorry, my dog is.
That's okay.
So, this one, Farkas on the horse, what a great team to support.
I think the dog's trying to sing it.
Yeah, my dogs love it when I'm watching Norwich games.
Yeah.
They sit with me to watch the matches. He's agreeing. But this one was my favorite because there is one part that we do in Brazil too, that in the middle of the song, we take a little joke of our rivals. So, fuck off Ipswich in the middle was a nice touch for our rivals.
Yeah, definitely, mate. And as you said, must have been such a special day. But one more thing I want to touch upon from that Sheffield Wednesday game. A lot of Norwich City fans said it was one of their favourite moments, and I was listening to a Jordan Rhodes interview. This goal, the free kick, mathematically actually secured a promotion. We didn't know it at the time, but of course Leeds ended up going on a terrible run. But this free kick mathematically gave us promotion. It's the 97th minute. Mario Rancic, 25 yards out, a superb free kick. Just describe through your senses what it was like. What did you see? What did you hear? And just how special was it to see a last minute goal at Carrow Road?
So before I traveled to England, in my podcasts, I always defend Mario Vrancic. I always love him because he has technique, and it reminds me so much the Brazilian playmakers. But okay, back into the game. In the moment, I was asking for everything that I know and I love. Please.
I bet you are.
Please, don't lose this game. And in the 97th minute, when this fall happened, I see everything in slow motion because in the position of the stand, I can see the point of view of Vrancic, but behind of him. And when I saw the ball curving and getting to the net, it was like slow motion, boom! Everyone go around, people climbing the pillars of Carroll Road. I was without voice to scream enough, shout enough goal, and everyone is rugging me, and I'm rugging everyone too, and people almost going to the pitch. Whoa, was amazing. I think it was like a film because what the chances. I could watch any game, but I was in the stadium when this game at 97 minutes, all drama that you need. We got robbed in this game too, and in the last final second minute, this man, my favorite player back then, in this season, scored the goal that make us guarantee the promotion. So it was perfect. We do not win, but it was perfect in that way. So I was so happy, so happy. It was difficult to sleep that night.
Yeah, I bet it was. And then, of course, a few days later, we then had Stoke away. Talk me through your experience about Stoke away. Of course, it wasn't the result we wanted, but what was it like to experience an away day in England?
Yeah, I don't know if it really was, but I saw much commentaries about this was one of the best away games atmospheres.
Oh, wow.
I was kind of surprised about that because I don't know, I do not have a perspective of other games away. So I take that. And when before the Stoke game in Saturday, Saturday actually was my last day sleeping in Norwich, and in the Sunday I go to London because I booked the other hotel room there. And fun fact, they really have a good shots in the website because when I arrived, the room was totally different.
Oh, right.
It was really small. But anyway.
They do that.
Oh my God. Well, I'm here to learn. And it was my first time in the other country, and I'm this time in London. I was 100% alone. And then I need to find out myself to go to Stoke to the game on Monday. So Neil, always top man, have some friends in London, and he and his friends helped me to go to the train. And the train system in England is so way different in Brazil because oh my God, I was so lost when I saw many trains there, but everything was okay.
So am I, don't worry about it.
And these two friends of Neo helped me a lot to go to Stoke. So it was really tranquil, the travel to Stoke. And during the atmosphere before the game was really amazing. People there jumping and singing, beers everywhere because people were singing with the cups in the hand.
So you were down in the concourse where all the kind of fans congregated and
yes,
things like that. Yeah.
Yes.
That was a great atmosphere there.
Yeah, and the beer in England is really good too, I need to say.
Yeah, we do like our beer here.
Yeah. And it was really great because everyone was singing and it was really good atmosphere there. And when we go to the stand, one thing that I felt different than Carroll Road was I think Britannia Stadium is so much open. I don't know, it was cold. The wind.
Yeah, it's quite a modern kind of stadium. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know. I do not want to be rude with Stoke fans, but I think we are much louder than them.
Yeah. I think they were going through a difficult point in the season as well. They had a lot of empty seats and things like that. But yeah, Carroll Road definitely felt like it almost feels like a church, and there's something very magical about Carroll Road. I didn't get the same feeling when I was at Stoke.
Yeah. Church is the perfect definition, I think, for Carroll Road, or temple.
Yeah.
Because it really is a place that you feel that you are not alone there. Makes me feel that I'm almost in the pitch with the players. So the structure of Carroll Road is something really, really handsome, and I'm really I usually goes to Maracanã, that it's a big open stadium,
Yeah.
but in the Flamengo games we have so much people that you do not think that is a really open stadium. So when I was in Carroll Road, the stadium, the fans, makes me feel like, or even better, when I was in Maracanã before. So was really familiar, really great to be there.
Yeah, definitely. And but we'll talk about the game in a moment. But you mentioned you was in the concourse. What was it like to have to be part of hundreds of fans all singing, all cheering? It was although promotion hadn't been guaranteed mathematically, in theory we were kind of on the verge of promotion. So what was it like being a part of the concourse? A slightly different atmosphere than like being at Carrow Road itself, and all being like conjugated in quite closely, and everyone cheering and celebrating and singing. What was all that singing like for you? Did it make you feel part of the family in many ways?
It's so when I say it was familiar to me, it was really because for real, I feel like I'm being part of it for so many years. When I started to support Norwich and I started to do social media, was a trend. Norwich fans tweet me like, "We are part of the big Norwich family," and I never forget this little phrase, big Norwich family. And after that, I know about Global Canaries. And in every moment, in the stadium or in the city, or I don't know, in the hotel, I was thinking, whoa, if I reset my mind and I wake up here, for me, it's like I live my life here ever, and I never left Norwich. So
That's lovely.
that's how I feel. It's difficult to explain that because it's such a specific thing. Because I'm living in Brazil, you know, and I'm trying my best to know more about the club, to be part of the culture of Norwich and the culture of the club. And when you go there and experience it in real life, and you feel that you are part of it, you think, wow, I think I do this right. I think I know Norwich for real. Besides, I'm living in Brazil, and it was a thing that inside of me was really warm up, and I was really satisfied saying, "Woof, I'm doing everything right here." So I think people know that I'm really in love with this club.
Yes, definitely. I think a good way to describe it is when you at football in general, you have so many different age groups. You have people who are, really young people, really old people, people from different backgrounds, different communities. And it's incredible that in a world sometimes which can have so much diversity, and everyone can kind of feel individualistic to each other. It's incredible that for 90 minutes, everyone can come together of all different backgrounds, and it just makes you feel something, I guess, being part of something that is far bigger than yourself, and the feeling of togetherness is incredible. And I think that's how I would describe it.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think football, and talking about Norwich, I think Norwich is a body with heart, and the fans are the soul of this body, you know?
Yes,
Because without the fans, what will be Norwich, you know? And without Norwich, what will be us?
exactly.
So we complete each other.
That's a really good way of putting it. Yeah. Going back to Stoke, how did you feel about the game? Obviously, it didn't go the way we wanted. I remember talking to you. You probably won't remember because you had hundreds of fans coming your way. I remember you on the train, obviously feeling a little bit disappointed, but still positive. And then, of course, on that train journey back, we found out that Leeds lost to Brentford, and essentially that meant Norwich City had been promoted, not mathematically, but pretty much promoted. So how did you feel about the game itself, and then the aftermath and the party itself?
Well, in the first moment, I was thinking Norwich will win the match because we was starting really well this game. But when it finished at 2-2, I was thinking, oh, maybe I'm cursed with 2-2 because 2 games were 2-2.
Yeah.
But okay, let's calm down. Let's think about the league table. And I was talking with Neil, and in that moment, there is no confirmation of the result of Leeds. And I remember everyone in the bus sitting, looking at each other like, oh my God, we messed it up.
Yeah.
If it not happened, what will be? And then when we arrive in that station, we know that Leeds slap up again, and well,
Yeah.
Leeds is the real one cursed, I think. And
And they just keep falling apart, don't they, Leeds?
yeah, poor Leeds.
I don't particularly care too much.
Either I. And and when we were in that train station, I was starting to realize that this journey in England, in Norwich, was starting to end. After we talked in the station, I was going back to my auto, and I think, well, I have just some days here in England. I will try to do some tourist things and know more about the place. I'm trying to go to some touristic places, and anyway. But was the moment that I relax and try to put myself together and think, my God, it really happened. It was so fast, but was at the same time looks like an infinite thing that I will never forget. And I can be grateful enough for everything that happened. And when I was in the hotel, I have no idea how the repercussion was in Brazil. And when I was going to sleep, I received a call from my dad, and he was saying, Lucas, you were everywhere. You appear in ESPN Brazil. People are talking about you. People are sending message to you. Oh, my cell phone, I don't know how it not explode because it was notifying me in every places.
Well, it's such a sensational story because obviously Norwich and Brazil, completely different sides of the world. I think there's 9,000 kilometers or 9,000 miles separating the two places. But I think everyone's fallen in love with how you've fallen in love with Norwich and the story behind yourself. I think so many people just find your story just so inspirational and brilliant.
Yeah, and I'm happy with that because if I can give some, I don't know if lesson is the correct word, but if I can give something to people is to keep believing in what you love, in your dreams, you can make it happen. Because
100%.
years later, I have no way to do what I did last year, but we can fight for things, and if you fight for it, you will do it. And I receive people saying, "Hey, was an Norwich fan that write me this. Hey, my dad was dead years ago, and football for me lose the motivation. And man, I don't know why, but your story was really great, and I'm kind of feeling to go back to watch some football, some Norwich again." And these things, when you think about it, you know how important is you being an example to fight for you want, for good things, for what you love. and do not fight just to be an example. Fight for yourself, for make your things happen. But if in aftermath you kind of being an example for it, it's way better. Things looks like that you fulfill the destiny, the thing that you are meant to do. So I try my best to do things in a good way.
Yeah, definitely. I think your story shows that obviously you're in Brazil and you have to, wait several years in order to come to Norwich. I think the story shows that if you put your mind to it and, you can achieve anything and you can achieve your dreams. How did your family and friends feel when you came back to Brazil, and what was the whole reaction?
Well, when I arrived, it was really funny because my family was like a World Cup. Because in Brazil, when we have World Cup, the family unite and watch the football World Cup together to support Brazil. But in that case, it was to support me. And when I arrived in Brazil, there was so many photos of TV when I'm in the TV, and film of myself passing on TV, my flag in the little corner of the TV appearing in the snake pit, and things like that. My family saying, "Oh my God, we were everywhere. You are now famous." And my mother a little much worried about saying, "Hey, you not abandon me here."
Yeah.
So was really a good welcome back too. What was a thing that I can say to my family, that I can say everyone needs to experience a thing like that. And was really, really great, and have their support for it make it way better.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. I think we're going to slowly start to end the podcast here, but I'd love to get you on for a part 2 because I find your story so inspiring, and I'm sure there's some other things we can touch on as well. But yeah, overall, how would you sum up that kind of week trip to Norwich?
Well, how I resume things, I think that is it. I don't understand the question, sorry.
So overall, how do you feel? What are your thoughts and feelings on the trip overall? Like,
Okay.
Looking back at it now, how do you feel about the trip, and how do you feel that you actually went to Norwich?
Well, how I feel it's never a goodbye. It's a way I see you later. And I want to come back because the feeling that I have in every step that I made there in Norwich was so familiar, how I said, and was so good, was so perfect, everything that feels like home to me. And when you depart home, you're supposed to come back. And I know I'm Brazilian, I live in Brazil, my home here in Brazil exists.
Yeah.
But I feel like Norwich is my home too. And maybe one day I'll be able to move there, because looking back there, 2019, everything that I lived in Norwich was amazing, was perfect. I'm so grateful for everything, and I want so much to come back.
Yeah, you're definitely more than welcome back, Lucas, and I'm sure there'll be
Thank
hundreds
you.
of fans shaking your hands, buying your pints, buying your food, and all sorts again. No, yeah, you're more than welcome back, and thank you for coming on to the podcast. I've just got a couple more questions. If people want to follow you, where can they do so to follow you?
Well, in every social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, you can find me with the name Norwich City FC BR. And if you want to listen the podcast, is in Portuguese, but you can search on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and everywhere you can find out, searching for Canary Cast. You will see Lucas Latorre in the little icon of the podcast. And I think that is everything to find me out. If you type Lucas Latorre, the Brazilian Canary, maybe it will be appearing to you too.
Yeah, I'll definitely leave it in the description. If you did enjoy the podcast, please like, subscribe, and follow Lucas as well. One final question I like to ask everyone this, well, I'm planning on asking everyone this kind of at the end of these podcasts. What does football mean to you, Lucas?
Well, football for me means family, means love, and means reason. Why reason? I think reason is the best word, because football, if not exist, I will not know Norwich. If I'm not know Norwich, if I'm not able to know Norwich, I will probably never learn English. And if I never learn English, probably I never will having the job that I have today. And if I not have the job, oh sorry.
He's still
And if
singing
I,
Farco on a horse. It's fine.
yeah, he's a fanatic one. Uh, and if I never have the job that I have today, I probably do not have the chance to go to any place. I have never a chance to help my family, and probably if I do not have no football or no Norwich, I do not have my creativity today to make my job. So everything, I think almost everything, there is a reason, and the reason is the word that I can define football for me.
Yeah, I think that's a perfect way to put it. If you did enjoy the podcast, please like and subscribe and leave it a rating on Spotify and iTunes. Lucas, it's been an absolute pleasure. I'd like to welcome you back on again, because it's been great to talk to you and share your story.
Oh, thank you so much, Lewis. It was a pleasure for me too, and I will be able to come back.
100%.
Thank you so much, man.
Thank you for watching. Stay safe, everyone. Subscribe to Norwich City Central, and we'll see you later.